Okay, hello, Siddhant.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now let us start our class. So, in our past lecture, I have discussed the dimensional analysis and its application. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so today I'm going to start from some problems on application of dimensional analysis. Okay, some problems.
Okay, sir.
Let's do some numerical some problems on that portion. So problems on application of the on application of dimensional analysis. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so now question number one. Question number one. Okay, so suppose we have equation f is equals to ax plus bt square. Okay, here a and b are constants. A and b are constants, and x is position and t is time. So find the dimensions of A and B. Okay, so you have to find out the dimensions of A and B. X is a position, okay, and t is a time. So let's do this problem. Okay, so here I'm repeating my problem. F is equals to ax plus bt square. Okay, here x defines the position and t is time, and a and b are basically constant. So we have to find out the dimensions of a and b, and capital F is force. Okay, here a b are constant and x is position and f is force.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so as I discussed in our last class that in dimensional analysis, homogeneity must be followed. Homogeneity must be followed. It means if I wrote my equation again, f is equals to ax plus bt square. Okay, so this f has a unit Newton. Okay, and this ax must have a unit Newton, and this bt square, the whole term, must have a unit Newton. Okay, is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here you can easily find out the dimension of A. So you have to just balance this ax is equals to the dimension of f. The dimension of f. Okay, so ax is equals to the dimension of f. Okay, and here a, the dimension of x. What is the dimension of x? Is it's a position. So the dimension of x is length. Okay.
Yes.
You can write it length, and the dimension of f is m
Time.
l t minus 2. ml t minus. Okay. So here l and l we cancel out. So the dimension of A is m t minus 2. Okay. Dimension of A is m t minus 2.
Yes, sir.
Next, you can easily find out the dimension of B. Can you find it? So you just have to balance here the dimension of this bt square is equals to dimension of this capital F. Okay, so similarly dimension of ax is equals to dimension of f. same dimension of BT square is equals to dimension of F. Okay. So what is the answer? Can you find it?
Yes, sir. I'm finding.
Try to find it. Then give me the answer so that we can go to the another question.
Sir, I got B's
Uh-huh.
value as MLT minus 4.
MLT minus 4. Okay. So that's here B, T has time square. So T square is equals to dimension of F is MLT minus 2. Just cross check your procedure. So here B is equals to ML T minus 2 divided by T minus 2. So here ML, this is T, sorry, plus 2. So this is T minus 4. So this is the answer. Okay. I think similar answer you find.
Yes, sir. I got the same answer.
So that's correct. Now next problem, let's do another problem on the same method. The question is here we have equation V is equals to AT square plus BT plus C. Okay, and here V is velocity, and T is time. So find the dimensions of A, comma B and C. Okay, so by applying the homogeneity of dimensions. So here V is equals to AT square plus BT plus C. So I'm again writing the equation, which is V is equals to AT square plus BT plus C. Okay. Here, what is the dimension of V? It has a dimension of meter per second. So LT minus 1. So the whole term AT square must have the dimension LT minus 1. This whole term BT has a dimension LT minus 1. And same C has a dimension LT minus 1. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Try to solve it. It's very easy question. It's for practice. So that you are.
Sir, dimension of LT minus 3.
So dimension of C is equal to LT minus 1. And dimension of B is LT minus 2. And dimension of A is equals to LT minus 3. Okay.
3.
So I think you are familiar with this type of question. You can easily solve if this question can ask, if this question,
Yes, sir.
you can easily solve it. Okay. So next problem is a very important problem of dimension analysis. So if the question is find the unit and dimensions of Planck constant. Okay. You have to find the unit and dimensions of Planck constant. So do you have any idea about what is a Planck constant?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm telling you. So Planck constant, the value of Planck constant, Planck constant comes from equation which is E is equals to hν. So the energy of photon, Okay. So do you know what is photon?
No, sir.
Okay. So I can also write the energy of photon or light particle. Light particle. The smallest part of light is a photon. Okay. The
Yes.
smallest part of light is photon. So in details, you will study photon in your next class, means 12th. There's a whole chapter on this photon, or electromagnetic wave. The whole chapter belongs to electromagnetic wave. So the energy of photon is E is equals to h nu. You just know the formula. Okay. Where E is the energy and nu is frequency. E is equals to h nu is the energy of photon.
E is equal to HU.
Nu. This is nu.
Okay.
Symbol nu. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So nu is basically frequency. And here E is energy. This is a very famous equation given by Planck. Okay. And H is Planck constant. Planck constant. Okay, so this is a very famous question. We find out the unit or dimensions of Planck constant. Okay, so now from this equation, nu is a frequency. Nu is a frequency. And what is the frequency? Unit of frequency? We say hertz. Hertz. Yes, second inverse. Frequency has a unit is equals to 1 upon second or second inverse. So from here we can easily find out the dimension of S. So H is equals to energy upon frequency. So what is the dimension of energy? Energy has a dimension as I discussed in our last lecture, that is L m L square T minus 2. Okay, divided by second inverse यानी T की power -1. Okay, so the dimension of Planck constant is ml square T minus 2 and here T plus 1. So here you can have your answer, that is ml square T minus 1. Okay.
Yes, sir.
It's an easy problem. You just have to remember the formula. This E is equals to h nu. Energy is basically directly proportional to frequency.
Yes.
Frequency. And when you remove this proportionality, then you will get a constant, which is Planck constant. And the unit, you can also say the unit. If I say unit of what is the unit of this Planck constant, this is dimension in unit. So H have a unit. Energy, the unit of energy is joule, and you have frequency is 1 upon second. So the unit of this Planck constant is joule second. Okay, so this is the unit.
Yes.
This is the SI unit for Planck constant is joule second, and this is our dimension formula, that is ml square T minus 1. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now let's go to another question, which is basically based on unit conversion. Okay. So in our last lecture, I did two problems on unit conversion. One was that I converted joule into erg. Okay, joule is a SI unit of energy, and erg is a CGS unit of energy. And another problem which I did is I converted Newton into Dine. Okay, 1 Newton is equals to 10 raised to the power 5 Dine. Okay.
Yes.
So let's do a problem that an electric bulb. Next question is an electric bulb. An electric bulb has a power of 500 watt. Has a power of 500 watt. Okay. Convert it in CGS unit. Convert it in CGS unit. Solution. Okay, so 500 watt, it's a unit of power. Okay, 500 watt is a unit of power. So how you define watt? Okay, how you define watt? So basically the unit of power, the unit of power,
1 watt is equal to 1 joule by second.
exactly. The unit of power is basically 1 joule by 1 second. Okay, so here we have 500 watt, it means 500 joule per second. Okay, and as you know, 1 joule is equals to 1 joule is equals to 10 raised the power 7 erg. Okay, so we can use this conversion, that if 1 joule has 10 raised the power 7 erg, so 500 joule is equals to 500 in 10 raised the power 7 erg. So 500 joule per second is equals to 500 into 10 raised the power 7 erg per second. So that is basically 5 into 10 raised the power 9 erg per second. This is the answer. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are some important questions related to that topic. So now I think it's enough for this dimension analysis. Okay. If you have any questions related to that topic, so you can ask me. Okay.
No, sir, no doubt.
Okay. So now let's go to the another part of this topic. So the chapter is unit and measurement. So the next, we have finished the unit. Okay, in unit we studied what are the units, what are the dimension, and some application of dimension analysis. Basically 3 applications, and we do some problems, and I think enough problems on that topic. Now the next part of this chapter is measurement. Okay, so I'm going to start measurement with significant figures. With significant figures. Okay.
Yes.
Significant figures. Okay, significant figures. So if you have a number which have some decimal places such as 1.62, or you have another number like 273.6. Okay, so the last digit of any number is basically uncertain. It has some uncertainty. Okay, and starting 2 numbers we basically call these are certain. These are certain. Okay, in this number these 3 are basically certain numbers. Okay, and these 6 basically uncertain.
Sir, in the first example, why 1.6 is a certain number and then 0.02 is uncertain?
Okay,
In the second.
I'm saying that the last digit is uncertain.
Oh, okay, sir.
Last digit. So you can change this last digit. Okay, so this is all about significant figures. If I say the first numbers has basically 3 significant figures, but you can convert this 3 significant digit into two significant digits. Okay, by removing these 2, which we will learn how to remove the last one. Okay,
yes,
how you can change the significant figures according to your observation. Okay, so this significant figures basically used in the observation. Okay, if you are doing some kind of observation which is very precise, if you are going to observe some data very precise or accurately, so you require this significant figures. So significant figures are totally totally based on some rules. This is all observative. There is no physics in this significant figures. This is all for numerical purpose. Okay, So there are some rules for significant figures. I'm going to discuss what are the rules. So rules for finding the significant figures. Rules. Okay. So rule number one. Rule number one says that all non-zero digits are significant. First rule is all non-zero digits are significant. ठीक है? Okay.
Yes.
All non-zero digits are significant. For example, I have a number 13.75. So how many significant figures it have? 4. It has 4 significant digits. Okay. So this is rule number one. Rule number one is very easy. All non-zero digits are significant. Okay. Every number which is non-zero, you will consider that number. Okay. Next, rule number two. Rule number two says that all zero between two non-zero digits are significant. All zeros between two non-zero digits are significant. So rule number two, all zeros between two non-zeros digit are significant. Okay.
Yes.
So the significance, suppose I take an example, if 100.05. So how many significant digits here? Significant figures or significant digits here?
2.
2. Okay. I'm saying that all non-zero between two non-zero. Take all zeros between two non-zeros. So here, how many?
3.
How many non-zero basically? 1 and 5 is non-zero. Okay. So you have to consider all the zeros in between this non-zero. So the total number is 5. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically this is a non-zero and this is a non-zero, and 1 or 5 is non-zero. You have to consider all the non-zeros, all the zeros between these two non-zero, all the zeros between these two non-zeros. So total significant figures here 5. Okay, 5 is the answer. Next, third one. Third rule is basically all ending zeros are not significant. Okay, all ending zeros are not significant. This is rule number 3. All ending zeros are not significant. Okay, all ending zeros are not significant. So if I take example such as, if I take example 86800. Okay, so how many significant figures here?
2.
Okay, again read the rule. All ending zeros are not significant. So you will not consider these 2 zeros. So the significant figures are 3. Is it clear?
So that is 86000, right?
86800.
Oh,
It's
that is
8.
8.
Okay.
Okay,
It's
sir.
8 basically. So the rule is clear. Okay.
Yes.
86800. So the significant figures are 3. Okay, these 3 rules are very easy. You maybe get confused in last 2 rules. Basically, there are 5 rules. So 3 rules are very easy. I'm again repeating the first rule: all non-zero digits are significant. Every number is a significant figure. Okay. Next, all zeros between two non-zero digits are significant. Okay. So you have to consider all the zeros between two non-zero numbers. And the third one, all ending zeros are not significant. Okay, means ending, you will not consider the ending zeros. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
the fourth one, the fourth rule is all the zeros to the right of a decimal place. Write down, first write down all the zeros to the right of a decimal, to the right of a decimal, to the right of a decimal point are significant. Okay, so all zeros to the right of a decimal point are significant. Okay, you have to consider right side, every zero to the right side of the decimal point, such as if I take example 5.60. Now
1.
1, okay, you get confused. Again, read the statement. All the zeros to the right of a decimal point are significant. So here 5 and 6, they are basically significant. But the fourth rule says all the zeros to the right of a decimal point. So here decimal point is here. So you have to consider all the zeros which exist in the right hand side of decimal point. The total significant figures here are 3. Okay.
Sir, can you repeat again?
I'm repeating again. So the statement says, third statement says basically you have to left all the right hand zero. That's okay. But the fourth statement says if a number has a decimal point, so you have to consider all the zero from the right hand side of the decimal point. So here decimal point, the right hand side of decimal point, it has 1 0, but you have to consider that 0. Okay, you have to consider that 0 as a significant digit. So this one is the fourth rule. This is the most confusing rule. Okay, but remember it. You have to consider all the zeros which exist in the right hand side from the decimal point. Let us take another example. Suppose if a number is given like this. So how many significant figures here? The answer is
3.
3. No. You also have to consider this number 0 with
Okay.
this number. So how
4.
many? 4 exactly. This 4. Okay. So if suppose I'm giving again number, if 0 comes between two non-zero number, then you have to consider that 0. Okay, again it has 4. Okay, but
Yes, sir.
if 0, it's all about ending 0. If 0 comes at the end point, suppose 5.8186 and then 0, so how many significant figures here?
1.
Oh again,
Oh, sorry, 5.
1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, there are 6 significant figures.
Okay, sir. Now it's clear.
Now, as I say, rule number 4 says that you have to consider every 0 from right hand side of a decimal point. You can remove the zeros which with a number which don't have any decimal point. Okay, so rule number 3 and rule number 4. Rule number 3 says that you have to you can leave the ending zeros. Okay, the ending zeros, the 0 which comes at end point. But if a number has a decimal point, then you have to consider the ending zeros. Okay, right hand side zeros, which comes after a decimal point. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so give me answer. But how many? Not 0? This is another rule. Okay, tell me 1.6010. Now tell me how many significant figures here?
5.
5. Okay, now I think you got the concept. Okay.
Yes.
There is no physics insignificant figures. This is all about the numbers.
Observation.
Observation. Okay. So there are basically some rules which you have to follow. Okay. Number 5th, initial zeros are not significant. Initial zeros are not significant. Initial zeros are not significant. Okay. Initial zero are not significant. Let us take example. Suppose if a number is written as 0.0042. So how many significant figures here?
2.
Only 2. Okay, you have to leave all the initial zeros. Okay, so there are 2 significant figures. 2. Now another problem. Suppose I give 0.161. So how many significant figures?
1.
Here? Oh, think again. Initial zeros are not significant, but it has 3 numbers 161 which are non-zero. So you have to consider all the non-zero numbers first thing. Okay, so there are 3 significant figures. 3. You just you can leave this initial zero.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you can leave the initial. But if a number, suppose I am again taking this example number 1. If I give you 0.00420, now how many significant figures here?
3. 3.
Exactly, because you can leave these initial zeros from rule number 5, but rule number 4 says that you have to consider the zero which comes at the right hand side. Okay.
Yes.
It comes at the right hand side. Okay, somewhere here. This zero you have to consider. You can leave this initial zeros. So it has 3 basically. 3. Okay.
Yes.
Let us take one more example. Suppose I give you example like 0.2010. So how many significant figures here?
4.
4 exactly. Very good. It's 4. Now one more example. If I give you 0.0161. So how many significant figures here?
3.
3. Okay. Now you got the concept. These are basically 5 rules. One more rules, but it's not basically rule. Is another form of rule number 3. Powers. If any number given in the power like 6 into 10 raised the power 6. So these power number are basically not significant. Not significant. Okay. Powers are not significant. Okay, is it clear? Suppose if a number written here 8 into 10 raised the power 8. So that's how many significant is it? Only 1.
1.
Because you can write this number as 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And as rule number 3 says that you can leave this ending zeros. Okay?
Yes.
Rule number 3. So these are basically 5 rules to find a significant figures or significant digits. These 5. Okay. So have you done with the notes?
Yes, sir. I'm done.
Okay. So let's go to some problems. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Give me answers. Some answers of some problems. Okay. Some rapid fire mode questions. Question number 1. 0.010. How many significant figures here?
2.
2. Very good. Another question number 2. 2.341 here.
4.
4. Okay. Question number 3. It's 2.10 into 10 raised the power 6. So here
3.
3. Very good. It has 3. And the 4th question is like 0.0156. Okay.
3.
3, very good, because you can leave the initial zeros. Initial zeros you don't have to consider. So it has 3 significant zeros, digits. Another question number 5. It's 0.004200. Okay. How many significant figures
4.
here? 4. Okay, very good. Some more. 6. 26001. How many significant figures here?
5.
5. Very good, because you have to consider the 0 between two non-zero numbers. So here 5. And question number 7 is 3100. How many significant figures here?
2.
2. Okay, very good. Now next question number 8. It's 130 into 10 raised to the power 3. So how many significant figures here?
3.
3. Okay. Okay. Now I think you can solve all the questions related to significant figures. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You just remember these 5 rules. Next topic is rounding off. Rounding off. Do you have any idea about rounding off? How to take rounding off?
Sir, actually I forgot.
Oh, it's okay. We'll discuss rounding off. Rounding off. So the rule of rounding off is like, suppose you have a number like 2.3636. Okay. So case number 1, if last digit is greater than 5. If last digit is greater than 5.
Yes, sir, I got.
Okay. So if the number is 2.36, so what you have to do, if you have to round off to, it has 3 significant digits. If someone say round off to 2 significant
2.40.
2.4. Okay.
Yes, sir, 2.4.
So if the last digit is greater than 5, then the rule says you just have to increase the just before the number, you know. So you have to increase 1 digit. Okay, to the second last number here 2.36. So 6 is greater than 5. So the answer is 2.4. Suppose you have a number like, if the last digit is less than 5. If the
Then
last
we'll 2.2.
If last digit is less than 5, so it's like 2.34. Okay, so the last digit is less than 5. So you can convert this 3-digit significant figure into 2-digit by leaving the last number. You just have to second last digit will be as it is. There is no change in the second last digit if the last digit is less than 5. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any confusion now?
No, sir.
Now the confusion which comes when the number is exactly 5. What happened when the number is exactly 5? So what about when the last digit is exactly 5? Okay, now what we have to do, if the last number is exactly 5, suppose I have a number 2.35. Okay, so if the second last digit, the rule says that if the second last digit is odd number, okay, then increase 1 digit, then increase it by 1 digit.
1.
Okay, so the answer is 2. The second last digit is an
2.4.
odd number, so the answer is 2.4. Why? Because the second last digit is an odd number.
Sir, but when it's even?
It's even. Next time showing you if the number is even. Suppose I have 2.25. Okay, So if the second last number is a even number, then you have no change. Then you don't need to do any kind of change. Okay. So if the second last digit is even number, then no change in second last digit. So the answer is, in this case, 2.2. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Very easy. These are very easy rules. If you, as you did some, you will do some practice, so you can remember it. Take a 1-2 times revision, then you will not forget these rules. Okay. So these are basically rounding off. Now let's do some more examples, because let's do some more examples on this rounding off. So one question,
Yes.
number one. If I have a number 18.35, so it has 4 significant digits. So if I want to round off,
It will be same.
up to 3 significant. So what is the answer? Round off up to 3 significant digit. What will be the answer? So here the last digit is exactly 5. The rule says that, even our rule says that, if the
It
second
will be
last
same.
digit, no, if the second last digit is odd, then you have to increase.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So the answer is 18.4.
4.
If the second last digit is a odd number, then you have to just leave as it is. Suppose another example, 2, which is 143.45. Okay. So up to 4.
No change.
No change. Very good. So the answer is 143.4. Okay. So this will be the answer. Another question. Some easy question based on the rules. Okay. So another question number 3. You have to round off the number 12.65 up to 3 digit. Up to 3 digit.
12.7.
12.7. Very good. 12.7. Okay. Oh, wait a second. 12.7, I think, is not a correct answer. Remember, let's think. It's 12.65. Okay, is exactly, and the second last term is a even number. So even number, you just have to write as it is.
12.6.
12.6 is the correct answer. Okay. Now next
Yes.
problem. Next problem. Question number 4. Question number 4 says that 321.135. 321.135 up to 5. Up to 5 digit.
Same. 3 to 1.
Point.
3 to 1.14.
That's correct, because the second last digit is
Odd number.
Odd number, so you have to increase 1 digit. Okay, now next question is 6-1. 101.5 into 5 up to 4 digit.
It
What is
will be
the
same. 101.5.
5. Oh, think again, because 5 is
It's
a
odd number.
odd number. So in
Yeah.
odd number case, you have to increase 1 digit. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
the answer is 101.6.
6.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's do one more question, then I will finish. I think the last 6-1 is the question is 31.325 up to 4. Up to 4
It's
digit.
even number. So
Even number.
same. 31.32.
31.32. Okay. So So this is all about the significant figures. Now we have finished significant figures.
Yes.
The next topic is error analysis. The next topic is error analysis. Okay. Okay, error analysis. Error analysis. So I think it's a 2-hour class or 1-hour class. I think should I stop here? I want to take 1 hour class today. Okay.
Okay, sir, no problem.
Because there's only one student. No? One student is missing. So
Yes, sir, no problem.
it's better if I take 1 hour class today. We can schedule our class tomorrow or any other day. Okay, whenever you feel comfortable.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So today what we have studied, we did
Significant numbers, rules.
first we did some numericals. Let's summarize my class because it's
Yes,
very
sir.
important. Otherwise, first we did some numericals. Some problems related to dimension analysis.
Applications of
Some problems based on application of dimension analysis. And after that, I discussed what is significant figures, in which I discussed 5 rules. Okay. And after that, we did some very easy numerical. And after that, I discussed the concept of rounding off and based some problems on that. In our next class, I will discuss what is error analysis. Okay. How to find error. Okay. How to find error, absolute error, relative error, percentage error, how to find these kind of errors. Next lecture will be based on that error analysis. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, okay, bye. See you in the next class.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome.